Hi everyone, so welcome to another video. I want to talk about more of the polling statistics. Out of the videos that are most popular, the voting video is by far the most popular. And it's for good reason. We're all quite curious of how well is Andrew Yang polling. And there is some skepticism that the poll that I was showing you guys was 4%. And well, 4%, I believe that is his, more or less his real number because a lot of the other polling numbers and methods aren't actually in his favor. And I want to show you more polls today that show you what I mean. Like the poll that I showed you in the other video, it had a sample size of 229,000 people. Whereas these polls that you have in front of you right now, I've highlighted the ones that have more than 1,000 people in the sample, and they're all in red. And beside those numbers, you're going to see an A, an RV, or a LV. So as you can see on the top corner, what they mean, if it's an A, it just means they're an adult, so any adult was questioned. If it's an RV, it's a registered voter, so everyone registered is polled. And if it's an LV, that will be in terms of they're a democratic voter, so they're the most likely to vote for a democratic person. Whereas a registered voter might vote Republican, they might vote they might vote Democrat, so you don't know. So the reason I highlighted those polls, the 4 polls that had over 1,000 people, you look at the percentage where Andrew Yang polls in terms of that, and he's usually getting around 2%, and one of them he gets 3%. The reason I highlight these is because every time Andrew Yang has been polling high, it's usually when the sample number is high. You look at the rest of those polls, and the numbers are actually much smaller. All the ones where he polls 0 to 1%, the sample size is less than 1,000 people. And the question is, why is that? Well, the reason is if you don't poll enough people, you don't get enough coverage and accuracy that you actually find all of Andrew Yang's voters. And it shows on this that in order for a sample size to actually cover enough to actually include a lot of the Andrew Yang supporters, it has to be at least 1,000 people in the sample. If not that, it can't actually be considered much in terms of much accuracy for the reality. So that's why I highlight the previous poll, which has 229,000 people, which is significantly larger than these numbers here, and it shows them at 4%. So that's why I say that's the true poll, because it has the numbers, it's able to reflect that detail and accuracy, and it's actually finding the other candidates it's finding the other voters who support Andrew Yang. Whereas if the sample size is too small, you're not really going to be able to capture that. So that's what I really want to highlight in today's video. If you've got a comment, let me know about these polls. What are your thoughts? Do you think these polling numbers are made to be skewed for a certain candidate? Do you think what I say has logic towards it? Because for me, it's quite obvious when you look at the trends. Whenever the polling numbers are higher, Andrew Yang tends to perform better. And when you have the big media agencies, I've seen a lot of their polling numbers, and a lot of the sample size is usually around 500 to 600. It's usually not, for me, it's not reflective of the true Andrew Yang numbers. And I would probably say if you see a poll and it has less than 1,000 people, I'd be a little skeptical, because not only does that sample not include enough people to actually get the Andrew Yang supporters, it could be done in the wrong way. It could be done by a landline, which might only access much older voters. and they probably don't understand UBI as much as much younger people do. But you know, that I could be wrong on that. Like older people might understand UBI much better than younger people. But I'd probably say most of the people that are for Andrew Yang are probably the younger voters. But yeah, I think that's possible. That's from my view anyway. Like the reality could be well different. I haven't seen the statistics on who the supporters for Andrew Yang are, but usually they're quite young. Like you look at all the tech executives that are supporting Andrew Yang, and usually they are quite young as well. But in terms of voting and polls, you can see for yourself right now, and like that's all I can really say about this because it's at the end of the day, all these polls have a bit of margin of error, and there's not as many polls that I'm able to find for you to like show you where Andrew Yang's support is, except the one that I showed you in the other video. So if you haven't seen it, I'd say go watch that, and then you'll be able to see like what I mean. And until then, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time and your support.